to see if it's working. Okay, so it says we are live. Let's see. We'll check, see if we've got anybody joining us. We're going to give it until 12:30, since that's what we said we would give it until 12:30. Let's see. But it does look like we are live on Facebook. It's amazing. We can finally get technology to work for us.
Hopefully it'll work through the whole entire thing.
I mean, that would be really nice. It's even putting up subtitles for us on Facebook. So there you go.
All right.
If you're joining us, give us a thumbs up or a comment so we know that you can hear us and see us. We are struggling with technology, but I think we finally gotten it to work for us. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like we got some folks joining us. So
okay.
I just turned on the live on my phone. All right, so welcome. This is part 2 of our series on aging in place with Stephanie from Engaged Home Therapy. Hopefully this time we will come across live and clear. And so if you've got questions as we go, feel free to ask those. I can see, here we go. Olivia, I've got a thumbs up from you. And so I can see comments as they come in. So that's great. If you've got questions that you want to ask as we're going through, Stephanie can even answer those live for us. So we'll put her on the spot. But today is all about home safety. So I think home safety is probably one of the biggest things that concern our aging seniors about aging in place, about being in the home. We don't always think of those little things that keep us safe in the home. And I know when we go and do assessments with Beyond Home Care, we do a little quick safety assessment just to make sure that we don't see anything big. But Stephanie, you guys actually can perform a thorough home safety evaluation for clients. Is that right?
Yes, that's why it's really great for home safety to consult an occupational therapist, because every patient is different. They have different abilities. Someone who's had a stroke is going to have completely different abilities from someone who's low vision. So as an occupational therapist, we take into account the person's functional abilities, the tasks that they do every single day, and their environment. So all 3 of those we take into account when we make recommendations in the home to keep clients safe.
Yeah, that's awesome, because a lot of times we do have clients who have either had an illness or maybe there's a weakness, they've had an injury, and they need that home safety evaluation. Is that something that their insurance will cover?
Yes, if it is considered medically necessary, and typically anytime a doctor orders it, it is considered medically necessary. That goes a long way for that. But even if we don't have a doctor's order, I can always do an evaluation. If I find something such as decreased balance or decreased weakness or coordination or that kind of thing, that's also considered medically necessary. And then I would just need to send that to their physician, and they would sign the evaluation, and that would insurance would cover it that way as well. If there's no medical necessity, then it would be private pay.
Right. But now I could even see how it may be important before it becomes medically necessary. If you do plan to want to age in your home, age in place, and you are trying to figure out, okay, so is the home as it is safe? Do we need to make modifications? And that comes into what we're going to talk about next week. Then that's something that you can offer as a private pay solution.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's a great resource here And if we didn't talk about it before, Engage Home Therapy is here in Tallapoosa County and surrounding areas. Stephanie is privately owned and operated, and she has gone out on her own to start this business. And so we're just excited to have her here. So Stephanie, tell us, okay, so home safety, where do we start? Do we need to start outside first?
Yes, let's start outside and we'll just kind of work our way in. So for outside, I like to have motion sensor lighting. So when you pull up, your light comes on, you can see well when you're getting out of your car, getting to your front door. You want to make sure that you have pathway lighting if you have a sidewalk. Make sure everywhere you walk is lit well. And then once you get to your porch, you want to make sure that you have your steps you have a handrail, your steps are in good repair. And you may want to even think about having a bench outside on the front porch. A lot of people don't think about that, but it's a great place to drop your purse or groceries while you're unlocking your door to get in the house. Or people who have really poor endurance can have it to a little spot to rest if they need to.
Yeah, that's right.
And then once you are at your front door, if there's any kind of step up into the home from the porch, it's a great idea to have a grab bar right there. Mm-hmm. Most people just think of grab bars for the bathroom, but they're great places for like getting inside the house as well.
Right. Well, I can think of so many times that, I mean, I'm able-bodied and can get in and out of the house pretty easily. But if I've got my purse and I've got, a book with me or something, and I mean, I'm doing that whole like shimmy maneuver to get the screen door open and the other door open. And then heaven forbid I have, the cat trying to get out of the house at the same time. Those are all things that to someone who does have some balance issues can be a real.
Absolutely. And they even make things like magnetic door stops. Like if you have a screen door or storm door that automatically closes, they have a magnetic portion that you can put on the porch, and then a magnetic portion for the door that holds the door open for you as you take things in and out.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is really good.
Awesome. Okay, so now are we in the house at this point?
Okay, yeah. Well, let's talk about stairs and steps real quick, because this can apply to inside or outside. Okay. Maybe going up to your porch, or if you have steps inside, you want to make sure that your steps are in good repair, that there's none kind of pulling up. Make sure you have a handrail, as I mentioned, and that it's in good repair. Never store anything on your stairs or your steps that you have to step around or step over. And you can apply non-slip treads to steps or stairs too. Yes. Because they can be slippery, especially hardwood stairs or steps outside that get rain that don't have a cover.
Right. And we think a lot of times about, ice, but in the South, we're thinking more of that like slime and after it has rained and it gets real slick on some of those surfaces, especially if they don't get sunlight. That can be just as bad as ice. Uh-oh, did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about floors real quick inside the home. You want to make sure that all carpet is tacked down well, that there's none kind of pulling up, that you can catch your toe on or your walker or cane or anything like that. If you have any missing tiles, make sure you replace those anywhere you have tile. Don't have any electric cords going across your walkways, anywhere that you may have to walk in your home. You want to always remove throw rugs. I know people love their throw rugs,
They
but they're
do.
huge trip hazards. And if you do insist on having them, make sure you tape them down with some good rug tape.
Okay.
Make sure that all of your pathways where you walk are completely clear. No magazines, no shoes, anything like that in your way that you have to step over or step around. And make sure all your furnishings are wide enough for you to get through safely. Wide enough for you and an assistive device if you have one.
Mm-hmm.
So moving to the kitchen. In the kitchen, we want to make sure that things that you use often are at lower heights so that you're not having to reach way up high to get something frequently. And if you do have to get something higher up, make sure you use a stool, no chairs. And ideally, the stool, I want you to use a stool that has the handle in the front that you can hold on to while you're reaching up.
Okay.
And kitchen carts are great for in the kitchen, especially if you have a larger kitchen and you need to transport things from the fridge to the stove or the stove to the table to eat, that kind of thing. They're very helpful.
So you're not like carrying it all at one time?
Stuff, right.
Okay.
To the bedroom now. For the bedroom, you need to have a lamp that's close by your bed. And when you wake up, I love the touch lamps because when you wake up, you can just reach over there and touch it in its own, and you're not having to fumble around reaching for the on-off switch, which can be way up the lampshade.
Modern day clapper, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those are great too. Yeah. But yeah, you want to be able to turn that light on, especially if you get up to go to the bathroom during the night. Have your assistive device right there with you beside your bed. Turn your light on and make sure that the pathway to the bathroom is also lit with night lights, or you can even put rope lighting on the floor in the hallway.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to walk to the bathroom, have a bedside commode beside the bed. And bed rails are really good too for safety, getting in and out of the bed, just to help stabilize yourself. You know, they make the bed rails that part of it goes under the mattress and has two legs down on the floor. And you can hold on that, getting in and out of the bed. And you want to also check your bed height and make sure it's not too high or too low, because that's a fall risk. So ideally, when someone's sitting on the side of their bed, you would want your hips, knees, and ankles to be about 90 degrees. Okay. And that'll let you know if it's a good height and not too high, not too low. And then the bathroom, you want to make sure that your water heater is turned to 120 degrees so that you don't burn yourself, especially for people who have neuropathy or some other decreased sensation, so they don't burn themselves. You also want to always have a non-slip bath mat in the shower or the tub. Okay. And also install grab bars in the shower and the tub and beside the toilet if possible. Yeah. And I recommend consulting an occupational therapist for that, because I've seen so many people's homes who, you know, had nothing against contractors, but they don't know where to put grab bars. Right. That will benefit the patient. So. Right. And we're going to talk a lot more about bathroom equipment next week. I think the bathroom is probably the most modified room in the house. Mm-hmm. That seems to be where most people start having most of their issues and need modifications for like toileting and bathing kind of things. So we're going to talk about home modifications next week, pretty much specifically for the bathroom, because like I kind of mentioned earlier, home modifications, there's just so much you can do, and it varies so much depending on a person's abilities,
Right.
environment kind of thing, and what they do during their day.
Well, that makes sense because, anytime we're talking about needing help or assistance in the home, we're looking at that loss, those ADLs, or those activities of daily living, and bathing, toileting, grooming, hygiene, getting dressed. Those are 3 of the 5 fall into the bathroom.
Right.
I mean, that personal care aspect is huge for independence. So I'm looking forward to next week and hearing about all of the suggestions that you have for how to modify that room for the best for that client, because just like you said, I mean, those contractors, they know how to put those grab bars in, but they may not know where to put them.
They don't. I've seen so many put in that the patient is unable to use.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. Anything else we need to know before we wrap up today?
I think that covers us today.
That's great. Okay, well, if you have questions for Stephanie, if you've got a question about home modification, since that's what we're going to go over next week, or if you've got questions about home safety, feel free to send us a message, or you can even put it in the event page on Beyond Home Care, because it'll go for this next 4 weeks. So next week, we're going to talk all about home modification, and then week 4, we're going to go into aging in place and occupational therapy. And so excited to finish out this series with you. I'm so glad that technology did not fail us today.
Me too.
But thank you so much for being here. Remember, I'm going to put Stephanie's website and information at the bottom, but Stephanie, go ahead and give us your website and telephone number.
EngageHomeTherapy.com, and my number is 334-607-7622.
Awesome.
Be glad to hear
get in touch with Stephanie and see, a lot of this stuff is going to be covered. You've paid into your Medicare all your life. Let it cover. Let it pay for you to age in place.
Yes.
Cannot stress that enough. So thank you so much, Stephanie, and we will see you guys next week, next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.